Chen, and today I'll be talking about what's something interesting about you that not many people know about. I chose the topic as my summer experience at CTY, which stands for Johns Hopkins University Center for Talented Youth. So the CTY was basically a 3-week-long residential camp at Thousand Oaks, California at California Lutheran University. And the city of Thousand Oaks is located in between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles near the Mojave Desert, even though it doesn't really look like a desert. There were cultures and people from all over the world, most of which came from South Korea. And there was a talent search to see who was suitable for CTY.
你要说什么是 talent search?
So that's South California, the picture that just disappeared. Okay. So I had classes. There were a few different subjects, like IROB, Introduction to Robotics, and Heavy, Heroes and Villains. But I didn't have either of those classes. My class was called UNAG, which stood for Model United Nations and Advanced Geography. We modeled United Nations and debated on real current crises like Syria and learned things about the Cold War, globalization, human rights. Human rights started in Rome as natural law, then developed into natural rights in France, and finally, after World War II, it evolved into human rights. So, 19th century wars we learned about is World War I and II, the Cold War, and the Korean War. Globalization is shown in the picture over here. There's a bunch of Disney characters, Cokes, McDonald's, CNN, they're all attacking Africa. This picture gets one thing wrong because sometimes people welcome globalization, even though sometimes people didn't. And basically, the meaning of globalization is countries losing their uniqueness because the same ideas are spreading around the world. They're different enough ideas. So this is about what we did. We learned about the Cold War, which was an ideological war between communism and capitalism, which were developed by Russia and the USA. Russia and the USA created NATO and the Warsaw Pact in order to try to spread their government styles. Instead of directly fighting, because that would have just ended in nuclear war that destroyed the entire world, they influenced other smaller countries to fight for them, causing the Korean War and the Vietnam War, by giving them money and weapons. And basically, we also learned about the UN's Millennium Development Goals, which were a set of 8 goals that the UN hoped to achieve by 2015. These goals included eradicating extreme poverty and hunger, promoting universal primary education, promoting gender equality, improving child health, improving maternal health, combating HIV and AIDS, environmental sustainability, and global partnership. And I have a video on that. In the year 2000, 189 leaders from around the world met at the historic Millennium Summit in New York. According to the then Secretary General of the UN, Kofi Annan, the UN's role for the next millennium will be crucial, making it a focal point for joint efforts in a world that presents worrisome statistics that endanger the perpetuation of...
You don't have to read, William. Don't have to read. Yeah, 你可以中间插几句话就是了。
1.2 billion people live with less than $1 per day. 800 million people are malnourished. 153 million children are below their ideal weight. 115 million children are not enrolled in school. 97% of these children are in developing countries. 64% of the world's illiterate population are women. 80% of the world's refugee Every year, 10 million children die of preventable diseases. Annually, 500,000 women die when giving birth or during their pregnancy. In Africa's sub-Saharan region, 1 in 16 women die in these conditions. In countries of the OECD, this same population is only 1 in every 2,800 women. In the year 2000, 22 million people had died of AIDS. 13 million children lost their parents to the HIV virus. 40 million people live with the virus. Annually, 300 million cases of malaria are detected. Annually, 60 million people are infected by tuberculosis. In 2000, 1 billion people in developing countries didn't have access to drinkable water. 2.4 billion people didn't have access to sanitary services. 14% of the world's population in the developed world produces 44% of the yearly carbon dioxide total. $100 billion are necessary for achieving the MDGs. 0.5 of the GDP of developed countries is necessary for raising that amount. The result of this meeting is a commitment. With a set deadline, 2015. Eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Achieve universal primary education. Promote gender equality and empower women. Reduce child mortality. Improve maternal health. Combat HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. Ensure environmental sustainability. Develop a global partnership for development. I can, you can, we can. Okay, so that's what the MDGs are. Okay. So let me tell you a bit about Syria's background. Syria is a country that's having a revolution against its government and its leader, Bashar al-Assad, which his name is shown over here in the comic. And Bashar al-Assad has a dictatorship that he claims to be a democracy to the rest of the world, which is supposed to give him a better image. However, in this war, many people have died already, and the UN hasn't come up with a solution because of inner conflicts. There were 2 different ideas for how to solve this Syria crisis. One of them was the group members of Russia, China, India, and Pakistan want to stand by and remain neutral within the war and let them do what they need to do. The other side, which includes USA and the other 11 countries, want to use their responsibility to protect, come in with an army, and destroy whichever side they think should be destroyed. So they have the reason why they haven't gone through with the second solution is because Russia and China have veto powers, which means no matter how many people are against them, they can shut the idea down. So they've been using their powers to stop any advance on direct interference in Syria. As shown in the picture over here, they exaggerate it with Russia and China jumping up and shouting, "Go Assad, go." Everyone else is saying it too, but they mean it as go. So we modeled United Nations with 15 kids, and we made a fake one. It was supposed to solve the problem in Syria, and we had come up with, at first we had a rough start when everyone was trying to prove each other wrong, but then we eventually started trying to come up with an actual solution, and in the end we compromised with both sides and ended up by asking the government for permission to enter. So if he accepts, then we get in and have peace talks with him, and if we don't, and if he doesn't, it will make his image look bad and he can't afford that.